We all love GP, and we will always need more of it. And while I'm on my progression journey, the gear seems to be getting more and more expensive, and our low-level moneymakers are also taking a hit. So today, I'm going to be combing through my comment section and testing out 5 of your suggested money-making methods, and apparently some of them can earn you over 1 million an hour with almost no requirements. Let's go. But before we get into it, I just wanted to thank you all for 6,000 subscribers. It's been about a year since I started this channel, and I really never imagined it getting this far. So seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Now, let's get into it. So our first method of the day comes from Abdullah Moiodin 9270, who says, TBH, these are all kind of slow-ass moneymakers. A good one that has no requirements and can hit upwards of 1.5 million per hour is just filling baskets with fruit. It can be apples or oranges or strawberries or bananas or tomatoes, whatever. I did oranges and it was really profitable. They peaked and I was making over 3 million GP an hour at the time. So for this basket filling method, there are absolutely no requirements besides being a member. And we'll be performing this method at the Grand Exchange. So let's give it a go. I think I'm going to go for 1,200 baskets, and if my viewers' calculations are correct, it should just take 15 minutes to get through this many. And all the baskets cost me 2,400 GP, and we'll also need to get 5 times as many oranges. So that's 5,800 of them. And those cost me 591,000. Now let's move these in my extremely organized bank to a place where it's easy to grab them. So let's grab 20 oranges and 8 baskets, close the bank interface, and quickly click on 4 of the baskets to fill them. Bank, deposit the filled ones, and rinse and repeat. Very simple stuff. I'm going to shred through these baskets and oranges, and I'll see you when I see you. This is quite mind-numbing. I really hope my wrists are okay after this one. We made a slight miscalculation. Obviously 1,200 times 5 is 6,000, so we need to buy 200 more oranges. Not sure why 5,800 came to mind. Alright, so it took about 30 minutes on the dot. I guess I definitely wasn't quite as efficient as Abdullah, who suggested this method. Now all that's left to do is sell these orange baskets and then calculate our GP per hour. I did accidentally eat 1 orange, so we ended up with 1,199 filled baskets. Alright, so all said and done, the orange baskets brought in over 1.2 million GP. And after subtracting our costs of 614,000, that leaves us with a pure profit of 596,000 GP. Now since that only took 30 minutes, we need to multiply that by 2 to get our hourly rate, which brings us to a final GP per hour of just under 1.2 million. Not bad considering you don't have to move a single tile. I personally wouldn't recommend this method unless you need some quick GP and don't have any other better methods to do, as you don't get any XP for it. Nonetheless, thanks Abdullah. On to our next method. And our next method comes from my YouTube comment section and is by Clayton Whitaker 1752, who says, one good method is killing the shades in the catacombs beneath Morton. Wear a coffin, bring a single shade key and cheap food, I use bass, with your best melee gear. Kill the shades until your coffin and inventory are full, bank in Berg de Rot, and rinse and repeat. You should get 55 remains per trip, which vary in price based on which color shades you kill for the remains. So for the shade remains method, you need level 80 fire making, and this method also requires the Shades of Morton quest to be complete. And also having Mori Legs 3 will make us a bit more efficient, and I'd also recommend some decent combat stats. And obviously this method will take place in Morton, which is just north of Berg de Rot in Mauritania. So throw on your best combat gear, have your Mori Legs 3 in your inventory, and we also need some fire remains, and also some magic pyre logs. Both of these items cost about 16,000 GP. Now we can use our Mori Legs 3 to teleport to Berg de Rot. If you don't have Mori Legs 3, you can also use a Morton teleport scroll. Oh, and you do also need a tinderbox. Luckily there's a bank in Berg de Rot. Now you want to head north to Morton and find these cremation areas. Now put the pyre logs on one of the funeral pyres and then the fire remains, and then light it on fire. And you should get a key. Oh, that's awkward. We got coins. Okay, so I guess it's best to bring a few of the logs and remains, as it's not a key 100% of the time. Take 2. There we go, we got the key we need. Now we want to grab the key and head even further north to the catacombs. Head inside, and then run straight south through the door, and then directly west to this silver door. And since we have the key, we can walk straight through. And now we can attack the shades. You will need to attack the shades twice, once while it's a shadow, and then again once it's transformed. Otherwise your character will just stand there like an idiot. They shouldn't hit too hard, so I don't think there's much need for food unless you have some lowish combat stats, and now we just keep killing these shades and collecting the remains. Once we have a full inventory, we can bank and Berg to rot using our Mori Legs 3. I'm gonna eat some food while banking, as our HP did get pretty low, but I'll add the cost of food to our calculations later. You can also bring a coffin to hold more remains, as Clayton had said in his comment, but with the Mori Legs 3, it makes banking and returning pretty simple and easy and quick, so I decided to skip that step. And at this point, we just rinse and repeat until we get bored. Alright, so we're coming up on an hour of shade killing, and I gotta say, this is a pretty good method. I started bringing some home teleport runes about halfway through, so I could use my rejuvenation pool and my POH to save money on food. But anyways, we ended up with 141 fire shade remains. Let's get them sold on the GE. Alright, most of them insta-sold, but now I gotta wait it out and let the rest sell. Alright, so I took a break for about an hour, and the rest have sold, and we ended up with a cash stack of 895,000 GP. But we need to subtract our costs of the first remains and the pyre logs to get the key, and also our food and the few runes we used. So let's subtract about 50,000 for all of that. And that puts our GP per hour just short of 850,000 GP. Not a bad method, as it's also just a chill combat training method while making a decent bit of GP per hour. Thanks, Clayton. And our next method of the day comes from Liam Rodriguez 1967, who says, great moneymaker, buying Battlestaff from magic shops. Yanil is okay, Lunar Isle is better. With the World Hopper plugin, I was getting around 700 to 900,000 GP an hour at Yanil. With Lunar Isle having a closer bank and less activity, you could probably get 900k plus. So for this Battlestaff hop and shop method, there are absolutely no requirements besides being a member, if you do it in Yanil. But if you decide to do it in Lunar Isle, you will need the Lunar Diplomacy quest complete. And I'm personally going to be trying this out in Lunar Isle, as I do have the quest complete, but Yanil's magic shop works as well. So now we're in Lunar Isle. Make sure you have your Seal of Passage equipped, as if you don't, you'll get booted off the island when you try to trade or bank. And you will need a decent cash stack to do this for very long, as Battlestaffs are not cheap. I'm going to start with 10 mil, highly doubt I'll get through it all, but we'll see. Now we want to head to the northern section of the town where the Walking House resides. This is Lunar Isle's magic shop. Now we just trade with Baba Yaga and buy out all the Battlestaves. Hop worlds using the World Hopper plugin, buy the Battlestaves out again, and repeat this until our inventory is full. Now we can head to the bank, deposit our Battlestaves, and continue doing this over and over until we run out of GP or we get bored. The shop sells the Battlestaves for 7,000 GP each, and I know they are going for more than 8,000 GP each on the GE, as I just finished up my grind to 80 crafting recently. So I'm gonna go ahead and grind this out for a bit, and I'll see you when I see ya. Not sure if we'll ever run out of run energy, but we might as well throw on our graceful outfit since we have it. I do notice there's a bit of competition, so if too many of you decide to do this at the same time, it'll definitely hurt everyone's GP rate. Alright, so after a full hour of buying Battlestaves, we spent just over 5 million GP. And we got 722 Battlestaves. Let's get our money back and some profit by selling them on the GE. And after all our staves have sold, we ended with a cash stack of 10,621,488 GP. Now since we started with 10 mil, we can simply subtract that and we are left with a profit per hour of 621,000 GP. I do have to admit I was not as efficient as I could have been, but 621,000 GP an hour, not too shabby. And our last method comes from a Discord server member, link in description, whose name is Deku, who says, so I have come through this money making method and thought it would be helpful for low level players. So you buy Scaly blue Dragonhide and skin it with your knife and then sell. You can make 2.2 mil per hour doing this. You sell the product for 19 GP each and it sells instantly, so that's pretty cool. Similar to our last method, this one has no requirements besides being a member, and we'll be doing this method at the Grand Exchange. All we need to do is buy some Scaly blue Dragonhides. Let's go for 1,000 of them, and these probably won't insta buy and will take a bit of time. Alright, so a few hours later and we have our Dragonhides. Now we just want to throw them in the bank and position them in an easy to reach bank location, grab a knife. Now we fill our inventory with the hides and simply use the knife on the Dragonhide. This will give us 50 blue dragon scales from each hide, and they go for about 17 GP each on the GE right now, so I do see the potential for profit here. And we can let it auto cut, but this is very slow, and we can speed it up by spamming the knife on the Dragonhides. Even better, we can position our knife like this, and now we can really spam click through the inventories. Bank the scales, grab some more hides, and rinse and repeat. I'll grind this out for 20 minutes or so, as I foresee my wrist becoming extremely uncomfortable very fast. Painful, absolutely mind-numbing. Are we there yet? Alright, so only 10 minutes later and we have all our scales. Even though it was only 10 minutes, it was pretty rough. Wait a minute, shouldn't it be 50,000 scales? We had some hiding in our bank. That'll get ya. Now surely these won't insta-sell, and I'm gonna go for a walk with the wife, and then we'll see the profit. So one stroll in the forest later and we've sold our dragon scales. We ended with a cash stack of 850,000. The 1,000 Scaly blue Dragonhides cost us 550,000. So after that quick subtraction, we are left with 300,000 GP, but we only did it for 10 minutes, so we need to multiply that by 6, and that leaves us with an effective GP per hour rate of 1.8 million. Pretty insane profit for something with no requirements. However, I do have to reiterate that these do take a while to buy, so if you want to try this method, it would probably be a good idea to put a large buy order in and do this every few days. Also, I have to say it again, painful on the wrists. And our final method of the day is actually coming from RuneScape DMs. Raw as usual says, seems plank make Mahogany is huge profit right now too. Logs are 530 each, planks 2.5k each. This method does have some high requirements. You need the Lunar Diplomacy quest complete to have access to the Lunar Spellbook, and you also need level 86 magic to cast the specific spell. And we'll be performing this method once again at the Grand Exchange. And if you have a max POH, you can switch to the Lunar Spellbook at the Occult Altar. And if you don't have the Occult Altar, you can also travel to the southeastern corner of Lunar Isle and pray at the Astral Altar to switch spellbooks. Now let's grab some Mahogany logs. There's 1,000 logs purchased. And for plank make, we will need to equip an Earth Staff, and we'll also need Nature and Astral runes and some coins. For Mahogany logs, it's 1,050 GP per cast. To gain another inventory slot, we can use our rune pouch to hold our runes. Now they only take up one inventory slot instead of two. Now we just start processing these logs with plank make. You can choose to AFK through the inventory, but that takes about a full minute longer to get through it, so we're gonna spam it as much as possible to give this moneymaker the best chance possible. So we just work our way through the inventory, bank the planks, grab some more logs, and rinse and repeat. Honestly, if this makes any sort of decent profit, I'm happy, as we're also gaining a solid amount of magic XP, about 150,000 XP per hour. We can also make this slightly more efficient on our wrist by positioning our non-log inventory slots down here instead of up top. Alright, so processing all the logs took just barely over 30 minutes. Now let's sell these planks and calculate our profit. And they all just insta-sold. And we got a cash stack of just over 2 mil. But using plank make was quite expensive and we had a lot of costs. The coins, runes, and logs added up to 1,837,000 GP. So that puts our profit at 221,000 GP, and we need to multiply that by 2 as we did for just 30 minutes, giving us a GP per hour of 442,000. Not bad at all, especially considering you also get over 150,000 magic XP per hour. Thanks Raw, and congrats on 99 magic. Raw is actually a valued clan member, so everyone congratulate him in the comments below. And now I'm giving you a personal invitation to join our clan, the Gilded Ones. We just finalized the touches on our new ranking system, which is intended to add a layer of rewards, direction, and progression to your OSRS experience. You can rank up by participating in bi-weekly skilling and bossing competitions, and every single competition and rank up comes with rewards. If you want to join us, head to the top link of the description and join the Discord server. From there, you can open a support ticket, and one of our staff members will respond promptly to get you in the clan. And even if you already have a clan or just don't want to join one, you should still join the Discord server, as I do weekly giveaways for all Discord members, even for those who are not in the clan. Hope to see you there. And that's going to do it for today's money making video. Really hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe for more. Anyways, that's all from me today, guys. Till next time, peace.